And it looks like Nicki Minaj's brother, he was convicted of raping a child. And anybody who knows this story, this man did all kinds of deviant sexual things to a 11-year-old girl. Her brother walked in on him doing deviant things to his sister. There was the court case and he was found guilty. Basically what happened was, there was a story out there that was blaming the mother, actually saying the mother took DNA from them being with each other and put it on the child's gown and clothing, and that she was going to extort money from Nicki Minaj. I can imagine that the rapist, her brother, told her this story. And a lot of people are talking about Nicki Minaj as saying, you know, she should have known. She shouldn't be standing by her brother. She is a horrible person. But anybody in this situation, they are very close to their family members. And you wouldn't automatically jump and say, oh, this person is guilty, especially when this person is trying to make a case. And that's basically something that would be targeting her. I'm sure she's had people come to her for money, trying to get money from her. She has to be careful as a celebrity, as someone who has money. And so for him to come to her and say that, you know, I believe she's trying to extort this through me from you to get a payday, I could see how she would think, well, this would be logical. And people are saying, oh, you shouldn't stand by your brother. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. And those are the same people who would stand by their family members if somebody accused them, especially when you don't see those traits in that person. You've never seen that person do that. You don't suspect that person of ever doing anything like that. But honestly, we don't know what goes on in people's private lives, and people hide a lot of stuff from their family members, spouses. Some spouses don't even know sometimes some of the things that are going on. People are good at deceiving and hiding things. This is solely on her brother because he did this. And he tried to pull her into it. And like any family member, we've seen people kill people. He killed 4 people. His mother stood by him. She ran off to try and protect him. A lot of people in families do this stuff. So this is nothing new. And this is nothing to come after Nicki Minaj about. And the only thing that I can say is, from what I've seen in the case so far and the conviction, that this little girl, she then gets therapy and she can get help from this, and she got to tell her story, and her brother got to tell what he saw, because I believe he would need help and someone to talk to about this, because this is traumatic. These are children. This is a grown man. The things that were stated was absolutely out of the pits of hell. So I just wanted to go ahead and do this story because this is something that is common within the community. Nobody in our community likes to talk about it, and it's really not dealt with. A lot of criminal actions and assaults and abuse, domestic violence, is not handled. Basically, it's told to the person who was abused that they need to buck up and just keep pushing for their kids, or, you know, leave the person and move on. And that's no way to deal with that psychological trauma. We don't get any help. We're just told to go beyond that. Exactly the same thing. People who experienced slavery, you were owned by another person, you were beat, Lord knows what you saw, and you're psychologically affected by that, but you're told that you need to be on the level of people who never went through that. It's absolutely disgusting. But this is something that's prevalent within our community, because there's another story that I will never forget. A lot of black females are preyed upon, and a lot of children are preyed upon. Girl, she's disabled. She was raped in a basement. She was actually gang raped. If you remember the story about there being a line of young men who was waiting their turn, and they had this young girl down in the basement. They kidnapped her, had her down there. The way it was talked about by one of the men who wanted to know why there was a line, he was actually told why. He did nothing to stop it. He did nothing to help that girl. He laughed about it and walked off, and he just didn't participate. But he's as bad as the people who participated. You just allowed this to continue, because here it says that this 18-year-old girl had the mental capacity of a 4 or 5-year-old. And this is in our community. But when stuff like this happens in our community, little is done about it. Little is done to even help the person who was assaulted. This is something that I remember when it first happened, and it stuck with me, and is the deviancy that, black women, it feels like as a black female that you are surrounded, no matter if this is from your own or from others outside of the community. You are surrounded by predators and deviants who could take advantage of you.
Crimes ever, and not many people have heard anything about it. So a word of warning first, the subject matter in this story might be unsuitable for some viewers. The story involves teenagers, charges of kidnapping and sexual torture, all in a South Side basement. Tonight, in our special report, Mark Saxenmeyer pieces together what happened.
I think they just looked for girls that they could talk or snatch, and I think they realized that she would be an easy target.
She had gone to take out the trash to the back alley, but never came back. She was taken here to a little used laundry room in the basement of a Washington Park apartment building.
You know what she told me? She said it was a long line, Mommy. It was just a lot of people, a big old long line.
She was forced to have sex.
She said, Mommy, there were little boys and big men.
A gang rape.
She was bruised from head to toe. They had hit her. She had big patches of her hair pulled out.
24 hours later, police found her 2 blocks away.
They couldn't hardly examine her because she was bleeding so bad and she was ripped so bad.
Despite the horrendous nature of this crime, the girl's mother says that her daughter remembers the first names of several of her attackers. That information led police back to the crime scene, where they started interviewing neighbors, finding witnesses, and now they've arrested 3 people in connection with the crime. 2 adults and 1 juvenile, all charged with criminal sexual assault and kidnapping. Yet they're still looking for as many as 8 more people.
One of the accused, 18-year-old Raja Lattimore, lived just a couple doors south from the crime scene.
I'm trying to find Raj Lattimore or his family. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Also charged, 17-year-old Philip Brown, who lived in the building where the rape occurred. This is his mother.
He didn't have no sex with her.
But, she says,
so many guys coming through the back yard, okay? I don't know what she went down there to do. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I knew.
Police and prosecutors say Brown told them he decided against having sex with the victim because when he went down into the basement, he saw a line of guys waiting for their turn with her. He became impatient, he said, and left. Even his mother admits.
He was accessory to it because he should have said something about it.
Did you go down there?
I went down there, I saw it, but I ain't see them, like, what they was doing, but I knew.
His name is Jock. He's 17, and he was questioned by police, but not charged. How many guys were down there?
It was about 6.
So you didn't partake in this?
No, I ain't partaking that.
But did you think it was a crime?
I don't think she was raped because she let him do it.
It was her own free will to have sex.
You heard me crying?
Yeah.
You was crying too.
Yeah, I was crying.
This is the victim with her mother.
Love you.
Yeah.
She is 18 years old.
She's 18 chronological. You know, she's 4 and 5 on a good day.
We don't have school tomorrow.
Really? What's today?
Sunday.
No, today is Thursday.
Thursday.
So tomorrow's what?
Wednesday.
She's mostly mentally challenged.
Your ass is Hazel.
Is she mentally disabled?
Yeah, like mentally.
It seems strange that a mentally disabled girl would consent to sex with all these guys. You don't know? You don't think it's wrong?
I'm saying, but she let him do it. It's like she knew what she was doing.
But you just said she's mentally disabled.
She is.
I can't believe they did that to my baby. And knowing that she's a sweetheart. She said that all she kept telling them was, my mommy gonna get you.
That is something that shows within the community. A lot of black females, basically, they have to be armed. They have to defend themselves because you never know who may be lurking behind that corner, and just because they look like you doesn't mean they have good intentions. And you can see how within the community nobody wants to talk, nobody wants to say anything even though it's wrong. They even tried to blame this mentally challenged young girl who is disabled. Even the boy, he said she wanted to be down there, but you do have to take somebody's mental capacity into consideration and know when something is wrong. Let's just say she did want to be down there with them. I mean, you have no type of regard for yourself or respect for yourself not to put yourself in that situation, and to also respect this young girl. You're just going to line up and do it. A whole line, 6 to 8 young males were in this line waiting their turn. And I wanted to touch on this because I wanted to talk more about a lot of the issues that women face within the community. The reason as a black female you would be maybe standoffish. You're not smiling because we hear all of these things about how we're supposed to be like all of these other women, but a lot of these other women don't have to go through some of the things that we go through because it's a double whammy. You're a female and you're black. And you don't really have protection from others outside of the community, and nobody really cares about protecting you from people within the community. And the statistics and numbers show the abuse rate of black women. Even personal experience that I've had in my family, some heinous situations where there were abuse, to the point where this person thought that, they were going to die. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think. Have you been a victim? Do you know anyone who's a victim? Have you seen this in your family? Go ahead and share in a comment if you would like, and I will see you in the next one.